Long ago, before humans filled the world with laughter, sorrow, and wonder, before songs and legends traveled across the lands, the world was silent. There were no stories, no tales of heroes, no songs of love or caution. All the stories that would ever exist belonged to Nyame, the sky god. He kept them locked in a golden box, high above the clouds, in a palace of shimmering light. The people of the world had nothing but the wind to tell their thoughts, and the sky seemed empty without laughter. But one small creature decided that silence was unacceptable. He was not strong, he was not fast, he was not feared. He was a spider. His name was Anansi. Anansi spun his silk high into the sky, weaving from tree to tree, climbing past the tallest palms, past the clouds themselves, until he reached Nyame's throne. He bowed low and said, "Sky God, I have come for your stories. They belong to the people below. I will bring them to the world." Nyame laughed, a sound like rolling thunder. "You? A tiny spider wants the stories of the universe?" "Yes," said Anansi, puffing out his little chest. "They do not belong only to gods. They belong to everyone who has a heart to listen." Nyame's eyes sparkled with amusement. "Very well," he said. "You may have them if you can bring me 3 impossible creatures. Onini the python, who swallows clouds, the Omboro hornets, whose sting burns like fire itself, and Osebo the leopard, who walks unseen and unheard in the forest." Most creatures would have run screaming, but Anansi only smiled. "Impossible?" he whispered. "That is the kind of challenge I love." Anansi first traveled to the forest where Onini lay stretched across the riverbank, longer than any tree. He approached carefully, pretending to be timid. "Good morning, Onini," he said. "I was just wondering, how long are you really? I've heard stories, but I've never seen the truth." The python hissed, curling slightly. "I am longer than 10-pound trees. None can match me." "Really?" Anansi replied innocently. "Why don't we measure? Surely you can prove it to me." Onini, proud and vain, stretched himself fully across the forest floor, and then, with lightning speed, Anansi spun silk around him, wrapping him tight until he could barely move. "Caught you," Anansi whispered, grinning. "Even clouds cannot escape cleverness." Next, Anansi traveled to the hills where the Omboro hornets nested. Their buzzing was so loud it could split stone. Anansi filled a gourd with water, climbed the tree and shouted, "Rain is coming! Quick, take shelter!" Panicked, the hornets darted into the gourd. "Not so fast," Anansi said, capping it. "You will come with me to Nyame." Their stings could burn like fire itself, but trapped in the gourd, they could only buzz angrily as he carried them skyward. Finally, he faced Osebo the leopard, sleek and silent, invisible even to the sharpest eyes in the forest. Anansi dug a deep pit and covered it carefully with leaves. When Osebo leapt, he fell into the trap. "Ha!" Anansi whispered, the mighty invisible one tricked by silk and patience. Osebo struggled, but Anansi spoke gently. "Let me help you out," and lowered a vine. As the leopard climbed, Anansi bound him tightly in silk until he could not escape. Anansi returned to the sky palace, carrying the python, the god of hornets, and the furious leopard. Nyame rose from his throne, eyes wide with disbelief. "You have done what no god, no warrior, no king could ever do." Anansi bowed. "The stories belong to everyone, Sky God. Let them go." Nyame nodded. He handed over the golden box. Anansi opened it, and the stories burst into the wind. They spiraled into forests, across rivers, over mountains, and across deserts. Everywhere the wind touched, stories landed. Some reached hunters, some children, some wandering travelers. And from that day forward, the world was full of tales. Anansi did not stop there. He returned to the people, spinning new tales of trickery, courage, and wit. He taught that cleverness can outsmart strength, that courage is not always size or power, and that the smallest being can achieve the greatest feat if they have a sharp mind and an unbreakable heart. Even today, when children tell stories under trees, when elders warn young ones of clever tricksters, or when laughter rises in villages and towns, they are carrying the legacy of Anansi, the little spider who freed all stories. Because stories are not bound by golden boxes. They live wherever hearts are ready to hear them. Subscribe and don't forget to like, comment, and share.